What is up, YouTube? So today what I got in store for you is a media blasting cabinet. What you should look out for when purchasing one, whether or not you should make your own, and whether or not it's a good investment for the price that you're actually paying for it and what it comes with. So let's get into this review and see what we got inside the box. Okay, so this is the first time I've actually taken it out of the box. Okay, from the looks of it, there are a few dents on this side, not too bad though. So as you can see, there's a little tiny one right there. You can see it. Scoping around, there's some paint chipping here. Looks like some metal finishing work done there. You got a dent right here, like where they put a screw in or something. I haven't really looked into it yet. It's all riveted together. Got a little plug here. Power cable there would hook up. Your on and off button. So it's not too bad. Where it's really bad is this area. See how that lever's like bent like this? That's because this top here is smashed down, so you can see the dent right here all along this edge, and then this edge or this lip rolled inward. I am sweating a lot because it's 109 degrees, 108 degrees, something like that today, but oh well, it is what it is. Okay, so when purchasing this sandblasting cabinet or any other sandblasting cabinet that's going to get shipped, always keep in mind that there's going to be damages, some type of damages on the box itself. I'm not worried about them. I could bid some of this stuff back myself. It's no big deal for the price I got it at. Okay, so Harbor Freight sells something similar to this, right? But it's a side load. This one's a top load. Okay, I'll go over its features in a little bit, but the reason why I chose a top load over a side load is because of this. When you work with the top load or any type of sandblasting cabinet, your film that you put on, this film right here, that covers or protects your actual blasting area for you to view, this is gonna get bead splatter or sand splatter, and then it's gonna coat this whole area, and then you won't be able to see. So you put those protective layers on, or tear-offs, and that prevents your actual glass or your plastic from experiencing that issue. What you want to keep in mind though is the cool thing about a top load is you just lift it up. You have full access to your tear off or whatever you want to call it, and you could get to it really easily. Now the one at Harbor Freight, and typically for the bench and stand-ups, they're all side load. Okay, so that means that there's a door that pops open from the side and you put your parts in there and blast them and whatever. But when you have to change the tear off, which it happens quite often, due to, depending on how much you're blasting and stuff, but all that ricochet and stuff tends to coat that tear off really fast. They have the screws like this all the way around with the faceplate, a piece of glass, and then another metal flat sheet in this area as support. And that faceplate, you got to unscrew every single dang screw around there that holds everything together. I've seen a few videos where guys would leave these screws just pushed in without a nut at the bottom, and that's cool and all, because you just lift up or jiggle it or whatever you have to do to get the top off. But the issue I see there is that's not how it's designed. It shouldn't be that hard to take this stuff apart. It should have like quick releases or something like that. But I mean, that's very typical. Okay, this one is slightly smaller than the one at Harbor Freight, and I believe because the base goes all the way straight down, so it's about like that much taller. okay? This one is just considered a bench top without that height. So that was my main reason to getting the bench top with top load, just for that alone, okay? When I'm blasting and stuff, I don't want to have to stick my hand all the way up in the sandblasting cabinet just to get my parts out. This, I could just lift straight up and access my parts all around here very fast and efficiently without all that hassle. So keep that in mind when you're looking into these blasting cabinets. Okay, so the features it comes with, first of all, it already had a stick-on, so it already had a stick-on face plate right here. One thing I do not like about this cabinet, and I'm pretty sure all the top loads have it, is a plexiglass top. And I think they do that because the glass ones are a lot smaller, the glass pieces, so it's a lot more expensive to do glass. But also, if you accidentally drop something on here, it won't shatter it. It's plexiglass. Also, the benefits of having a plexiglass faceplate is you could just always buy another piece of plexiglass and then exchange it if need be, okay? Some of them have chain like this, and then some of them have a pivoting arm, a two-piece pivoting arm that allows you to close this down and hold it up. Those ones, so this right here ran me $119 on eBay, okay? That's a pretty good price if you ask me, considering the DIY one costed some money to make, you know, close to that $100 range to get all the parts and everything ready. So for $119, that's pretty decent. The blasting booth at Harbor Freight costs roughly around $119, right? But then you got taxes and all that stuff that kick in, so that adds to the cost. This one ran $119. Harbor Freight's about on par with that. The stand-up one from Harbor Freight is $180. The bad thing about that one is it's a lot larger as well. It takes more power to run the gun and stuff. We'll get into those details in a little bit. Also, the other ones that have like the mechanical arms here to rise and lower this, yeah, some of them do have a glass window here, the more expensive ones, but I didn't want to spend $300 on a blasting cabinet when it's just going to get abused by the media hitting, you know, dirty parts. So go figure, you know, have two of these over the lifetime of what you're going to spend on one, or buy a good one and, you know, spend a little bit more money on a good one. But for what it is, for what I need it for, this is a perfect deal. Okay, it came with rubber gloves. They have I don't know if you can see this, but they have, let me see. So they have like this fabric on it. It's like a rubbery, I don't know, it's not full rubber like how the ends are. It's real pliable, so you can maneuver really easily in here. And then the inside's lined a little bit differently. Okay, so probably to keep you from sweating, the rubber between the rubber and the this fabric keeps you from sweating. Okay, you have a hose, a feed hose. All right, all this stuff is going to get assembled, and I'll show you the overview. I mean, it's basic assembly. You get a tube for supply air line that comes out of this area. You get a power unit to power up your light. Okay, so you get, that's the next thing you get is a nice light. A lot of them don't come with lights. Okay, get a on and off switch here. Everything powers in the back. Filter already pre-assembled on the inside. You get a pickup tube here where the media, you stick it down in there and the media pulls it up. You get all the hardware you need to do push on stuff. If you're running quick disconnects, you're gonna need to do that yourself. You get some different size nozzle tips with the holes. And then you get the gun. So this gun's all metal, it's not plastic. You have the tube. Everything's ready to go. Everything you need besides a vacuum and a compressor, okay? So This is what it looks like in the front, moving around. And this is what it looks like from the side. Okay, here's that filter area. So what I ended up doing is buying a shop vac, a mini one. I think it's like 2.5 gallons that I'm gonna plug in directly to here. It's like 2 horsepower or something like that, real powerful little guy. And that should clear, because you're gonna want that to keep the media or the dust down when blasting. This one here, you just run this tube all the way down into the center. Let me see. Into the center down here. And you run this little metal tube in there, and it picks up all the debris, or not the debris, but the media to blast back into your gun. So you never have to worry about, you know, refilling stuff back up like the handheld one that I had. Okay, everything's self-contained in here. Get a screen grit or a screen to hold your parts and funnel out the grit. What I'm going to actually do though in the future is use a screen, window screen, put it under or wrap this in it, okay, and that will keep all the larger particles that you're blasting off, like paint particles, and keep those on top while the media gets to filter through it and fall at the bottom. So you'll never have a clog in these tubes, and you never have to worry about really cleaning your media out, because that screen will filter it. It's going to be the same stuff you see on windows. You just wrap it up in there and it'll filter that stuff out. Okay. You're going to want a light if yours don't come with one, and the reason for that is because you want to see your parts. You know, having to top load with this big old glass area or plastic area, you'll be able to see a lot more. One of the modifications you want to do right away though, when dealing with this plexiglass or any type of glass, is make sure you use masking tape and mask off these areas all the way around, completely around on the inside, all the way up where it covers like maybe an inch of your protective layer, and that'll prevent this from getting all blasted out. And also it'll keep media from, what it tends to happen is when the media is getting blasted, it'll start lifting this and creep its way around. Because as you can see, not all the corners are fully sealed with the glue, and that glue adhesive is made to be peeled off really easily. So keep that in mind when blasting. The main reason why I also bought this setup is because this one only takes 40 to 80 psi to run this cabinet. All the other ones are closer to like 80 psi, 60 to 80 psi, all the way up to like 120 to just run them pretty decently. And it's all due to this supply hose right here, how big this is, so it doesn't use as much volume, and also this pickup tube. This pickup tube, typically what the other ones come with is a real stiff pickup tube. As you can see, this one's real flexible, so that's nice because it'll allow you to manipulate the gun. So those are the two mods that you want to do right off the bat, is a way to filter out your media from paint chips and stuff when you're blasting, and then also cover this with some larger masking tape, like the blue stuff. Or the blue stuff I typically would run on this because it's easy to peel off and stuff, and you won't have no residue. Okay, so those two mods are a must. You must have a vacuum, and you must have a air compressor. Well, I mean, the vacuum's a good mod. It's not a must, but it will help you see your parts. You can run it without a vacuum and just feel for your parts, but if you're taking this stuff seriously, I definitely recommend having a vacuum. Okay, you have a plug down here at the very bottom that you could drain all your media, so you don't have to lift it out and flip it. Also, this grate right here comes out. It has an opening here. You could rotate that to whichever side you want it, okay, with the cutout. So all in all, that's the overview of what you get for 119 bucks and what to look out for when you're purchasing one of these. Okay, so the glove, when wearing it, it fits my hands really well as far as the finger length and the width is concerned. I have decently large hands, but if you have anything larger than mine, these may be a problem to fit your fingers in. All right, so I assembled everything, okay? So first things first, I added a washer on this side so that way this didn't pull through. I also added one of these quick disconnect couplers, okay? I used the given barb like this that they came with, okay? I put a rubber gasket that it came with on this side, and I also supplied myself with a flat washer, real thin one, such as this, okay? This one came with it, okay? I had 2 extra. I didn't see this one until after I installed one of mine. So what I did was I put this fitting on, and then I followed up with the washer, and then I put the rubber gasket that it came with on, and then I put my own washer on the outside, and then I tightened it. Also, remember to use Teflon tape or Loctite 242 to seal the threads before tightening it, okay? Also remember when buying couplers that there's different tips, okay? The stuff that comes from China is a lot different than these ones. And then they also have one that's a little bit different than this one. It's here. But the stuff that typically comes with like machines, such as like say a sandblaster, they'll come with these Chinese style ones that don't fit any of your stuff. I flipped the grade, this graded part, expanded metal part to fit the triangle cutout on this side because I'm right-handed, so I'm going to shoot from this side to begin with, okay? Also, I made sure that this end was facing forward so it wouldn't catch my glove when I'm using the trigger, okay? You could cut those off. I'm going to probably do that. Also, this tube here, I made sure that it's going to face up like this when it's in there, and I'm going to probably cut this back, okay? Also, look at the curvature of the hose, okay? You see how everything curls back this way in its natural form, and that's so that way it doesn't kink itself this way. It flows with my hand. Okay. Also, this flows in this direction because that's where the nozzle is. So how it was wrapped up in the roll is how I put it, so that way everything flows unison. What you can do, and which I probably might try, is zip tying these together, like bringing this around like that and zip tying this stuff together in the near future, okay? Also, that plug down there was facing upside down through the bottom, so if you get media, like a lot of weight in there, it could push it out and then it could drop all your media. So what I did was I pulled it out from the bottom, came in through the top, and pushed it down into that area, so that way that would not happen. All right, and then of course you just put your lines on. I faced it this way so that way this edge would not catch my glove when it's like that. This is a little bit more smoother than having these little cutouts for the Phillips head, but it's whatever. You could put some tape on that or what have you. I don't need a quick disconnect internally, only because I'm not going to be pulling the gun in and out. There's no reason to, okay? One thing I noticed, but I'm not doing yet, is this tube right here is kind of long, okay? So depending on how far this is going to sit in there will determine where this ends up. I don't want it to end up here because all your grit's going to be down here. So what I will probably be doing soon is, after I get this set up to see how it works, is I may cut the tube back to about right here, so no matter what, the heaviest part's down in there holding that area. Also, I may 3D print me something to hold this tube back here, like clip onto here and hold it straight down. Or I may even buy some C-clamps or 3D print some C-clamps that I could drill directly into the base of this to hold this tube straight against this edge. Also, if you want to see content like this and other content I'll be posting on this sandblasting cabinet, definitely stay tuned. Watch my other videos that are coming up in the near future. that show me using this as and basically give you my review after I used it. I'll be making some modifications here and there. If you want to see those in action, definitely stay tuned. But that's going to wrap up today's video. If you liked it, definitely give it a thumbs up. That's greatly appreciated. If you want to see content like this and other content I'll be posting in the near future, definitely consider subscribing. Until next time, see you in the next one.